Hey guys, welcome back. Agree to disagree. Week 4. So some of us are stressed out, and we're gonna go over whether it's time to panic or maybe just relax a little bit. It's week 4. Some of you guys might be 0-3 like the Raiders and like me, so it might be time to panic. Who knows? Speaking of the Raiders, though, what do you think? Is their season done? Out of Devontae Adams talking about he's angry, upset, all this crap.
So yeah, man. As far as their playoff hopes or anything in that division, yeah, I mean they're pretty much you hit the panic button, they're done, man. They are the fourth. They are even the Broncos, man, are making them look silly right now. So the Chargers are another team that in that division that are gonna struggle, but I still think that the Raiders, man, their coaching is terrible. So yeah, but as far as fantasy relevance are concerned, Devontae Adams is still there. Josh Jacobs is still a guy you're going to play. Darren Waller is still a guy you're going to play. If Renfro comes back, he's still a guy that might pick it up. So as
And
far as
like, but
fantasy
you might.
relevance,
I mean, to your my bad, but yeah, Hunter Renfro. I wasn't high on him already coming in because Devontae is taking it, and then Waller. He hasn't been doing much, dude.
mhm,
So and then same with Waller, and honestly, Devontae Adams. This guy Hollins all of a sudden is getting all these targets because they're double
yeah,
and triple teaming Devontae Adams. If he doesn't catch touchdowns in these last 2 weeks, these are some stinkers he's putting up.
mhm.
Those touchdowns are keeping him somewhat relevant. So it's like, is Devontae Adams touchdown dependent now, or like, because I mean, that's crazy to say.
Yeah. I mean, I think teams are figuring out how to stop them. So
But he's been
you're
doubled
up.
and tripled forever. Aaron, like he still produced with Aaron. You don't think he got doubled in Green Bay? Like who was there two there last year? Lazard
Yeah.
or like so he's got to Derek Carr's got to find a way to get their best player involved a little bit more. And yeah, to me it's kind of time to panic. McDaniels, yeah, give him some credit, but dude, throw him the ball. At the end of the day, it's not like we were talking about it with the Broncos when we were watching that game, and it's like, dude, Russ, just take over, man. Like, stop listening to these play calls. Just take over. Like, at the end of the
Mhm.
day, that's your best player, Derek Carr. Just throw him the damn ball.
Yeah, Derek Carr, man. I was gonna say it's on him as much as it is on the coaching. They got to find a way to open this offense up, man. They seem very predictable. Derek Carr down the stretch in the fourth quarter is when he kind of comes alive most of the time. Uh, he the last couple of weeks he's tried to lead comeback in games, even against the Chart. I mean, the first 3 weeks he's trying to lead comebacks because it's almost like they're so predictable the first 3 quarters. Their game plan is find a way to get Devontae the ball on any route. And then, when he's getting double, triple team, it's like, oh shit, what do we do now? So they need to fix that. They need to fix that. I don't think he's necessarily touchdown dependent. I think he's going to figure it out. But
You
the
better.
rest of that offense, man, I mean, as far as Waller and Josh Jacobs are concerned, I mean, I was kind of high on Josh Jacobs going into this year. And now he's a sell low kind of guy right now, and he was an RB2 in my book going into the season. Now he's not even playable. So yeah, it's definitely time to hit the panic
Panic.
button on the Raiders, but it doesn't mean that they can't turn it around fantasy wise. But if you're a Raider fan, man, look on to 2023 because this season's already done.
Right. Speaking of fantasy, though, like Buccaneer offense, that's what's on my mind. Obviously, I'm a Bucks fan. Everyone's hitting me up like your offense is not good. Is Tom Brady done? Like, is it time to panic on Tom Brady? I mean, to me, hell no. He didn't have Mike Evans this week. Have him alone, I think we win that game. Just having Mike, not even mentioning Chris Godwin and Julio Jones, and your left tackle Donovan Smith, your starting center Ryan Jensen. So those are 5 pretty good players on offense that are gonna improve the team, and it's not like they're gone and dead. Like Mike will be back this week. Donovan Smith has a chance to play, so a left tackle and a wide receiver one coming back. To me, I actually rostered Tom Brady in my other league, and I have him. I'm going to start him over Tua. I have him and Tua as my 2 quarterbacks to choose from, and I'm going to give him the start because I think he bounces back. We got Mike Evans, and then it's the Chiefs. So we're gonna have to score some points. So I
Mhm.
think that I'm definitely going with Tom Brady, and I'm not panicking on Tommy. I think that, like I said, once these guys get back, our offense is gonna be fine. Defense is good, so it's not about the Bucks. We know the Buck. I mean, I know the Bucks are gonna be fine. I'm not worried about them at all. But fantasy wise, those people that drafted Tom Brady he's been underwhelming. We'll just call it that. But I mean, don't panic. He's gonna come through.
Yeah, I might be a little bit more peeved about this right now than you are. All I've been seeing on ESPN is a time are the Bucks in trouble? Is Brady done? And they talk about his personal life, man. What's going on between him and his family, man? Leave the guy the fuck alone, man. It just drives me nuts when you bring all that shit in there. And I think that's why I'm pissed off, man. I'm a family guy. Like, dude, he's the greatest quarterback of all time. He's gonna figure it out. He was without his top three receivers, and all three of those receivers are gonna be back probably by week 5, week 6, and they're gonna start humming. Like, it's just I'm tired. I'm tired of hearing about all that shit. It's not Brady's fault. It's not the coaching staff's fault. Like, there was some injuries, and they just played against a really good Packers team and almost beat them. Like, and I was able to like, their defense is legit. I mean, let's calm down on that shit. As far as Brady, is Brady done? No. Brady didn't have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Julio Jones. 3 potential, like, maybe even Hall of Famers if Chris Godwin likes to continue his career the way he's going. Come on, let's pump the brakes on that a little bit. ESPN, I think, has really gone downhill as a sports entity over the last couple of years anyway. Their commentators and their analysts are terrible. So I mean,
Yeah.
let's calm down on that a little bit. And anybody comparing, these independent podcasts like A2D or all these other podcasts to ESPN, I think we have better sports minds than those fuckers do. So let's calm down on that. And Brady's going to be just fine.
For sure. You already know. That's probably why I'm not like I don't get worked up, because I have full confidence, full faith. I already know Mike Evans, if like I said, if he's there alone, we win that game. And Brady might because he didn't play bad. His QBR was fine. He only had the 1 touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
No guys could get open though. Nobody was getting any separation. So yeah, they'll be fine though. Tom Brady will be fine. As far as another panic guy, for me, I got Allen Robinson. Is he a guy I've seen, like, is he droppable? I'm hearing is he droppable? I'm actually gonna hang on to him. I have him on my roster because, and I drafted him and I compared him to how OBJ finished the season last year. But I don't know. Maybe he's not as big. Stafford doesn't trust him downfield as much, but it's just that chemistry just doesn't seem to be there. He's on the field a lot. And right now, I think it's Skoranek is maybe outproducing the guy, which is just crazy to say. You paid him all this money. I'm thinking, and he's a good route runner. I don't understand. He's got good hands. I just don't get it. But man, is it time to panic? Like I said, I'm personally not dropping him, but man, my hand is on that button. I haven't quite pressed it yet.
Yeah, man, I do think it is time to panic a little bit, only because going back to last year, I mean, I know
Right.
he had Justin Fields as his quarterback, but going back to last year, Allen Robinson was absent last year too. And everybody wanted to place the blame on the offense and Justin Fields. Well, now through 3 weeks, the one thing I'll say is he has red zone. They do look for him in the red zone when it's, on fades and stuff like that. But it seems like that's really all the guy's got anymore. Down the field, he's not there. When Van Jefferson comes back, man, I mean, you're right about the chemistry and down the field. I mean, Van Jefferson is going to see everything deep, and Cup, man, I mean, that's one of the maybe the top chemistry combinations the league has seen ever, if not over the last couple of years. I mean, these guys are just on point. He knows where he's going to be at all times. So yeah, as far as Allen Robinson as a player, like, yeah, hit the panic button. If you're not going to drop him yet, he's already on waivers in my other league. If you're not going to drop him yet, you just got to pray and hope with the guy, but you can't play him. I mean, he's not playable for the
Right.
next couple of weeks. And if you are forced to play him, you just got to pray that he catches a touchdown and he gets you 10 points.
Yeah,
That's
I actually played him. The 1 week I did play him is the 1 week he scored a touchdown. I think he only had like 15 points, and that's with the touchdown though. So
yeah.
he's not a guy that if you're looking for a breakout guy, it ain't gonna be him. You got somebody else? I got someone.
I got a couple receivers, man. The first one I roster, and it's Robert Woods. So he finally came out and had an okay game against the Raiders, 4 for 85. Tennessee seems like they might be able to figure it out a little bit, but this guy's only averaging 7.5 points a game. And I mean, for Robert Woods and his history as a receiver, to me, I'm like kind of neutral on it. I don't think he's droppable yet, but he's kind of in the same book as Allen Robinson, man. Like, he's not really going to be a touchdown threat. He's a catch and run guy, and it just seems like that offense runs through Derrick Henry, and then Traylon Burks is kind of the one that's getting more run in that offense. So
he's especially downfield. It's been Burks.
He's a guy that I benched last week, which I'm really happy that I did. And he's another guy that I'm not really looking to play this week until he starts to pick it up.
I currently have him in my start as my wide receiver 3 because, like I said, I'm dealing with. I still got Godwin out. Thankfully, Mike is back, so I got him and Gabe Davis. But right now, Woods is currently slotted as my wide receiver 3 in that league. But I don't feel good about starting him. And the only reason why he's in that spot right now is because of last week. It looked like they made an effort to get him involved. So to me, like, hopefully he can build on that momentum. To me, he's not droppable yet, just because the upside you just mentioned is history. He can get going. He's a dog, man. He's a good player. Tannehill just got to find a way to be a little more accurate because he's a smaller guy. But give him a chance, dude. Throw in his area, and he's a competitor. So Robert Woods. I'm not panicking yet. But like a similar situation, like you said to Allen Robinson, one more week. Do one more bad week, and next week you're gone for sure for him. What about you? Got another one?
Oh no, I wanted to jump back into the AFC West, man. We talked about the Raiders. I do want to talk about the Chargers, but we're going to go on into that for a while. I want to talk about the Broncos, man, and how much we should be worrying about the Broncos and Jerry Jeudy in particular. So over the last 2 weeks, he's had 2.2 points and 3.7. I know he came out of that game in week 2, but he only had 3.7 coming back against Frisco. And he's averaging 8.7 points. I mean, I was really high on this kid. And in week 1, I was sitting here like clapping and patting myself on the back. And now he's been absent the last 2 weeks. Nathaniel Hackett looks like the first 4 letters of his last name sum him up perfectly, man. He's just a huge hack, dude. He seems like the worst coaching hire ever. And Bronco fans already don't like him. Like, what's going on down there?
Right. I think they hired him with the hopes of getting Aaron Rodgers. That's it. Like, and he was cool with them. Maybe they went and got drunk together and did some shrooms or whatever the hell Rodgers is doing nowadays. But maybe he looks drunk. I don't understand what the hell he's doing. Like, he just looks lost, dude. You got Russell Wilson. Just tell him, hey, go call plays on your own, Russ. Like, go out there, 2-minute drill. And do that from the beginning. Just let him go cook, man. That's what he does. He's like, you paid him all that money. Let him bail you out. Let him save your job. But yeah, the whole AFC West, besides the Chiefs and Andy Reid, that's the coaching is just horrible. Like the Staley, he's the only reason the Chargers didn't make the playoffs last year. And then you got Josh McDaniels on the Raiders, who's ass. And now you got Hackett, who's probably the worst coach in football right now. And they're 2-1. There's no way they should even be 2-1.
Second worst coach in football. You know who the worst football coach is. Come on.
Man, he's not bad.
You know who the worst football coach is. Come on.
What do you mean? They just got a big win on Sunday. Baker. I think that it is. As far as Jeudy goes, I think it's time to panic, man. Like he's played these last 2 games and he has a total of what? Not even 6 points. Mm-hmm. So to me, he is a guy that is he droppable? I would hang on to him because the upside is like we talked about the upside. We were both high on him coming in, and it's just not there right now. It's Sutton. Sutton's his main guy, and the offense just isn't there. But like I said, don't drop him. Do not drop him. I'd pick him up quick if you did, because if the coach, he's not going to figure it out, but if he can just let his quarterback figure it out, then that offense could get going. They got good running backs, 2 of them. They got 2 good receivers, and they got Russell Wilson. I don't understand, Russ. He keeps listening to these play calls and he keeps trying to do it, but he went backyard a little bit and won him that game. He needs to do that from start to finish. Just go play ball, and let the talent take over because they have talent. Jeudy can get open, and if it does start hitting, I picked them to be in the playoffs. They're 2-1. They're not looking like that playoff team right now. But, man, Jeudy is talented. Russell Wilson is talented. So I'm nervous, but I'm not pressing the button just yet. But you can't start him. Get him out of your lineup if you got him in there. But that's a good one, man.
They're surprisingly a 2-1 team. And if they're not hitting it yet, maybe we're wrong. And maybe once Russ starts cooking, dude, that's going to be a different
right. So hang on to him.
They're pretty bad.
Yeah, hang on to him. And if you got like someone you can maybe trade for him, because he could probably almost get him for peanuts. You know what I mean? So, another guy I have that we should talk about is your guy, Travis Etienne.
I have.
He has to be talked about. So
Yeah.
right now we were both high on him coming in too. I didn't draft him fortunately in either of my league, but James Robinson went however many rounds after him, and I'm sure
Mhm.
everyone's drafts. And now look at James Robinson, RB3, getting all the work, and they know they can trust him. He's been there and done that, and he's producing. So that's not going anywhere. So if you have Etienne, definitely panic on that. Um, do you
I
drop him though? Probably the same
No,
thing,
I
right? He's not
actually I
droppable.
actually I disagree with you on this, man. I disagree with you, and it's not because I roster him. It's because I think Jacksonville's starting to figure it out. As you see the season go on, you're starting to see Etienne produce a little bit more. Just you want to see that uptick in production, and he's starting to get that uptick in production. He hasn't scored a touchdown yet. Week 1, he dropped a touchdown. He could have had an 18, 19-point game. He dropped that touchdown. He got lit up in one of those catches too. I mean, he's getting his opportunity. And this week against the Chargers, I mean, he scored his most fantasy points of the season, and he got into double digits this last week. You're starting to see an uptick in production, and you're starting to see them round out, especially this week against Philly. Man, it's gonna be a high-scoring game. I think Etienne actually he might even see the end zone this week. And this is a week that I'm trying to decide between him and Tony Pollard. But I disagree with you, man. I mean, the uptick is there. I mean, it's starting. He's starting to show you a little bit more every week. And James Robinson is going to see the most snaps there, but Etienne is he's a flex back,
That's
man.
yeah.
I mean, that's what he is. So I disagree strongly. He's definitely not somebody that you drop. You might be people have been hitting me up about trades, but I'm not even ready to trade him yet, dude. And if something happens to James Robinson, this guy becomes a monster. So I mean, if you give this guy an 80% snap share instead of a 40% snap share, I mean, you double that up, he's a 20-point a
Yeah.
week.
I mean, he got hurt as a rookie, and even then, like just watching him the few times that I've watched, he's a much smaller guy, so I don't think he can handle all that work. That even if he were to
In
get
that
it, I mean,
offense, he could.
I
And he's
think
also averaging like
they'll
6
find
yards a
someone else to
carry.
get carries.
When he
Right,
gets
but I
carries,
mean,
he's
in
averaging six
garbage
yards a
time
carry.
and in space when the thing can pass, like I mean, he had just hasn't been producing like that. So there's no I wouldn't start him. That's for sure. Maybe not drop him, not yet, but yeah, I don't see that same upside. I just don't see it. And he might have scored this week, but they were up by like 25 points, and I'm sure he got some garbage points. James Robinson's getting all the work, and he's RB3. So I mean, to me, yeah, Travis Etienne. And there's like I said, I maybe not drop him, but I wouldn't start him. That's for sure.
This week, I would. Against Philly, man, there's going to be a lot of points scored in that game. And they might be trailing in that game. And so I think that's when, and he comes in on third down, stuff like that. And Philly's a pretty good defense. I'm telling you, man, you're going to see he's going to, I would bet a lot of money that he's going to score more than 10.5 fantasy points, and he's going to continue to do this.
That was a good one. All right, for sure, man. You got anybody else we need to panic about?
I got one more, man, only because he is most people's RB2, and we talked about him going in the season. His average isn't really what you want to be yet, and it's barely higher than Travis Etienne's, and that's James Conner in Arizona. So I know he's dealing with a small ankle injury, but even when he plays, he's only getting 12 to 13 carries. Even down by the red zone, you're starting to see Kyler throw it more rather than that 19 touchdown James Conner season we had last year. I was high on him going in the season, man. I thought he was, going to be that guy, and without really anybody breathing down his neck as far as Chase Edmonds and stuff like that. But he's not getting the volume that you want to see from him. Is that something that you think that can change in Arizona, or is that something that's going to happen?
I think when Hopkins comes back, that's actually going to help him a little bit because teams are going to play them. They can't load the box. If you got Hollywood, Hop, and Ertz, all of a sudden you're going to have to play coverage and have guys back. You can't load the box on that, and that's when he's going to see an uptick and things. So, but depending on your situation, I'm not as worried about him as I am Etienne. I was hot because I was higher on Etienne than Connor. Like Connor, I kind of knew he was going to be touchdown dependent. He was that way last year. He just happened to score a shit ton of touchdowns. And this year he hasn't. I don't think he hasn't had any yet. But he's going to get there especially when Hopkins. It's only we're going into week 4, so only 2 more weeks. If you're a guy looking for a trade, he might be a guy if you're really thin at running back because we saw him last year. And as an offense overall, I think they added Hollywood. I think they're going to be a better overall offense. We just haven't seen it because we haven't seen Nuke Hopkins yet, dude. And once he comes back, like he's still wide receiver one, so he's going to open up things for that offense a lot, especially for James Conner.
Yeah. I mean, I just I haven't seen. I mean, over the first 3 weeks, I mean, I think he's averaging like 13 carries or 13 touches a game. Hasn't been, and like Greg Dortch is the one taking all this the short little dump offs and stuff like that. Benjamin, was a guy that I talked about last week that, if James Conner was out, but even with James Conner being in, I think he saw 13 carry, like 34 yards. So it just wasn't in a pretty favorable matchup too. It just wasn't really there for him. And I'm starting to hit the panic button a little bit. He's a guy that
I feel like they're just predictable with him. Every time he goes in the game right now, if you're a defense, you think, okay, because he's not the best in the pass game. They should try lining up Benjamin and him there together, because I know last year they had Chase Edmonds. Maybe that helped Connor out too, because you could put both of them back there together, and it's like all of a sudden you don't know what's coming, and you got to play back a little bit. With him in right now and without Hop, dude, like you could probably load the box, and Kyler, you have him beat you downfield throwing to who right now. So to me, he's kind of the guy. He'll get better though. I wouldn't drop Connor, because especially from what he did last year. But right now, if you got other options or even a streaming option, you can potentially start over him, because he is struggling.
Yeah, and the last thing we have to get into, man, before we sign off here, is probably the biggest disappointing team, and we talked about going back to the AFC West, is the Los Angeles Chargers. This team has been very disappointing. I know they're dealing with a lot of injuries. Keenan Allen's out. Their all-pro left tackle, Rashawn Slater's out now. They just lost, their deep threat, Jalen Guyton. So, but even Eckler really hasn't been what you wanted Eckler to be. So how much are we worrying about?
Hasn't scored a touchdown yet.
Yeah, how much are we worrying about this? Like, how much are we worrying about Eckler? Keenan Allen, I think, will be fine.
Ribs.
How much are we worried about Herbert's ribs?
I had Mike them Williams in the Final Four, man. They were, to me, had a top roster in the league, and Bosa just went down on defense too. And I don't think they've had J.C. Jackson at corner yet either, so they're dealing with a lot. But no, man, I can't write that kid off. Justin Herbert, just him alone, dude. Mr. Fourth down, everything he does, even some of the throws he made. I mean, it was the Jags, and they just got routed. So maybe, but man, no, I can't write him off just yet. As a team, as an Austin Eckler fantasy owner, I'm definitely like, man, what are we doing here? 4 carries? You had 4 carries? 4 carries. Austin Eckler, what the hell's going on, man? Staley is, like I said about coaching, to me, that dude is god awful. He should have been fired last year. I don't know what the hiring process is with these coaches, man. But man, some of these dudes, especially in the AFC West, are bad. The Chargers, man, yeah, I'm nervous though. Hopefully you got some insurance policies, but I think Eckler, he still had 8 catches, and he's been double digits every week. So I think we're seeing his floor. But man, let's get going here, huh?
Yeah, man, I agree with you on Eckler. I think he's going to be just fine. He's going to still be a volume monster. Herbert, man, he's one of the top 5 quarterbacks talent-wise in the league. Keenan Allen coming back will help. I think Rashawn Slater, I keep bringing it up. I think that's a huge loss for the Chargers, man.
They're not, that knocked him out of Super Bowl or like AFC.
Absolutely.
Like I think if they end up playing, well, as soon as they get to the playoffs now, because the AFC is loaded. So if they end up getting Cincinnati week that opening round, or one of these teams, and Cincinnati, they're 1-2, started 0-2. They're coming off a big win, so that's probably why we didn't really mention them. But yeah, I'm not panicking on them either. I think Cincinnati will be around.
They'll be just fine.
They're getting warmed up. They got some new pieces, so I think that they'll be fine. But yeah, San Diego, where they should be. LA, man, they're not going anywhere. I think Herbert will keep you guys in contention. They'll keep you guys relevant. But I think your championship hopes might have went out the window with Rashawn Slater.
Yeah, but as far as the fancy guys in that, I think I think that the only one that I'd start panicking on would be Mike Williams. I think he'd be somebody that I would probably think about trying to sell right now, and see what you can get for him, and try to use that heart. Try to sell him to a Charger fan, or try to sell him to somebody who
To someone who
had
has
him last
Justin
year.
Herbert, maybe someone that has Herbert, and they can see a
Yeah,
potential staff. That's what
try
I
to.
tried having. I tried having Chris do that. I tried having him. He trade. It was Chubb and Mike Williams in exchange for Jamar Chase. And shoot, the way Chubb's going, maybe it's a good thing he didn't make
Yeah,
that trade.
yeah.
But because Chubb's he's running hard, and that offense is going.
Yeah, so I mean, he's the only one that I'd kind of start to fade. I think you're right about Gerald Everett. I think he's a good. We probably should have talked about him on the waiver ads if he's still a waiver. He should be rostered by now.
He shouldn't be. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
rostered in both of my leagues.
Yeah, so he might see a little bit of uptick, only because I think the pressure is going to get to Herbert a little bit faster now, and it's going to be a lot more dump off central. I think we saw that with Eckler's uptick in targets. But
Right.
you're right about
he's a tight
they need
end
to
that
run the
can
ball.
catch screens too. Like Everett, I think he's like he's the one guy that goes up. Him and Eckler, I think Eckler. Hopefully, because I got them both right. But yeah, hopefully they see an uptick here with Slater out, because those are the quick guys you want to get the ball to quickly, and they can make plays. They can make guys miss too. So hopefully.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm glad that we see eye to eye on most of this stuff. I mean, it's good to know. I know we're always going to disagree on Travis Etienne. That's fine. I'm good on that. I'm good on that, because you know what? As this guy starts getting into the 15-point range, I'll happily be like, haha. But as for now, man, yeah, those are our panic buttons. I hope you guys are listening. Kevin, you need to be listening, bro, because you should be panicking right now. You have made bad decision, bro. You should be panicking. And love you, buddy, but come on, man. It's
time to go though,
panic
man.
button, dude.
Yeah,
so
for some guys, dude, it's time to go.
But for the rest of you guys that are listening out there, if you're 0-3, 1-2, yeah, man, it's time to react. It's time to jump back into it. Make a trade. Start using your waivers. Try to switch up your teams on some of these players that just aren't producing for you. Try to buy low, but
right. And real quick to just cut you off. If you guys, Chris, my boy Chris, he's in another league, and he sends me pictures of his team and a few other teams that he's been talking trades with, and I kind of helped him come up with the trade that helped him out. So it doesn't always work out, Max. I'm sorry. I had him trade for Travis Etienne, and that one was preseason, and that one's not working out so far. So hopefully he turns around, so I don't look like such a fool on that one. But it's fantasy.
He's going to.
Right.
Good.
But yeah, no, we'll help you guys out though. We'll come up with some trades if you guys need to. But at that time, like he said, if you're 1-2, 0-3, you got to do something. Get active.
Yeah, don't sit around. That's why we keep, like in our league, we keep a top score every week, so it keeps people active. Still go after that, still try to get the top score, try to compete. I mean, it's not over yet. Most leagues are 15, 16 weeks into the playoffs. So make a trade, use your waivers, start changing your team up, win this week. If you lose this week, but if you win this week, I mean, start turning it around. And but if you lose this week, man, there's always FanDuel and DraftKings. So, but until next time, guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're going to be going into our start sits tomorrow. We have DFS lineups coming later on in the week. But keep watching. Hit that subscribe button. And until next time, man, A2D.